Connecting the dots, reliving Northwood's history with Carrie Bladorn.
The Northwoods of Wisconsin is one of the most picturesque places on Earth. Photos of its forests, lakes, rivers, residents, and culture have been taken for more than 140 years. Nowadays, we snap thousands of photos on our smartphones without even thinking. But 100 years ago, it was a lot of work taking pictures, especially in the early days of Wisconsin history. The equipment was large, travel was tough going, and the methods of producing photos a science. There were quite a few people that mastered the art and captured many of Wisconsin's earliest images, but one man from Anago stands out among them all, A.J. Kingsbury. If you're a lover of history, old photos, and the Northwoods, odds are you've seen his work. The name A.J. Kingsbury can be found on thousands of postcard pictures depicting dozens of scenes of life in northern Wisconsin in the early 20th century. He was a prolific photographer, capturing images that have become renowned in the historical record. One of his most popular and widely circulated photos is of the capturing of Rhinelander's famous hodag, an image which is still reproduced and sold in shops and museums today. Arthur Jerome Kingsbury was born in Michigan on September 23, 1876. His father worked in sawmills and lumber yards, eventually moving the family to Anago in 1889. The town had been founded just over a decade earlier, and Arthur grew up watching the community flourish on the fertile plain it was built on. He attended college in Michigan, then returning home, married Anago's Miss Myrtle Cunningham. The couple would move away from the place they spent their childhood, Arthur working for a time in the oil fields between Michigan and Oklahoma. After 7 years, they moved back to Anago in 1904, where Arthur would find his true calling, photography. In May of 1907, A.J. Kingsbury opened the Kingsbury Kodak store on Fifth Avenue in Anago. In a time when every town, great and small, had a portrait photographer, Arthur would take a different path, a dusty, narrow, often muddy path into the forests of northern Wisconsin, to photograph the everyday life of its first and its pioneering peoples. Using his Anago office as a headquarters, A.J. purchased a Ford automobile and traveled to and photographed the growing and bustling communities of early 1900s northern Wisconsin. He photographed logging activities and camps, railroad operations, homesteads, rivers, lakes, forests, and all the people living and working among them. Arthur had an eye for photographing what at the time might have felt like normal goings-on for the age, but time would place his pictures among the best of historic photos of Wisconsin. Of course, A.J. took many photos of his hometown in Anago.